Hello everybody, this is the Retro Bear speaking to you from the very festive-looking gaming pantry for this final edition of the tNb Gaming Podcast for 2020. I think we can all pretty much agree things can only get better, not only in terms of the quality of the podcast, but also the year that we're about to enter, 2021. And this is a bit of a special episode, sort of diverting from the regular format. What's that? I hear you cry, we have a format? Well, no we don't, but got to put that in for sort of like some sort of sake anyway. We're just going to talk about some of our favourite Christmas memories this week, and also a bit of the usual what we've been playing. And because of the way people have sort of been available this week, it's going to be recorded slightly differently. So if it sounds a bit different to the usual podcast, that's because that's what it is. We just the week before Christmas, everybody's very busy. Not only so before we work, some of us work shifts. We've also got a lot of other stuff going on for Christmas and other bits and pieces going about. So whoever's on the podcast, I'll be talking to them about Christmas memories and what they've been playing, but it might sound a bit different. I'm pleased to say that I do have with me today, and we love having him back again. I'm so pleased he managed to make it for the Christmas episode, is our very good friend Sean at Retro Games Revived. Hi, Sean.
Hello, mate. Yes, I'm good. I know the viewers can't see it, but I'm very festive today, actually, for this podcast. I'm dressed in an elf suit.
I was going to say you were naked. I'm not sure what's more worrying, the fact you're wearing an elf suit or you aren't naked. Because usually you're naked, aren't you?
Yeah. I've just got to keep these little bells on me little boots, from ringing and interrupting the podcast.
Why are you wearing an elf suit? Obviously, the answer would be because Christmas, but you know.
I just thought I'd have a change from my Santa outfit. You see,
no, that's true. Yeah,
I didn't want beard getting in the way. So
you are known as Santa, Sean. So yes, that's it. Yeah, the elf. Yeah, the elf outfit is a bit of a difference. I must be honest with you. I wasn't expecting you to say that, so I'm a bit thrown now. Oh dear, the unexpected, as we always do on here. Oh dear. You may gather that it's just myself and Sean talking at the moment, as I said, sort of recording things in between. So we're going to have a bit of a chat amongst ourselves. It's nice to get the guys to sort of on a one-to-one basis, because we haven't really had an opportunity to do that. It's usually,
have we?
No, we haven't. It's usually a number of sort of numbers here. It's always good because we try and do a round table, we're having a discussion, but very rarely on the podcast we get a chance to sort of sit down and talk like this. Usually we do this beforehand, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
It's probably because it's like incredibly loose-sounding sort of podcast today, but there we go. Are you looking forward to Christmas, mate?
I am, mate, yes. As always. I do love Christmas, and I've said it before, I'm like a big kid. I still get giddy about stuff. And even though my PS5 was supposed to be getting wrapped up and sent to Santa, that didn't happen. I ended up...
you mentioned that last week, didn't you? Yes, yeah.
I mentioned it, didn't I? I know Lorraine, my wife, she's got me a few more bits. I don't know what they are, so yeah, I'm giddy. And on Christmas morning, I'll be waking everybody up in the house. Come on, Santa's been.
Will you be wearing your elf suit at the same time?
Quite possibly.
But yeah, that would be quite a scary thing to have, sort of like you barging in at 8 o'clock in the morning wearing an elf suit saying it's Christmas. The stuff of nightmares there, mate. I was going to say, what's a typical sort of Christmas in your household? But obviously, I've got an idea now what it might actually be. But I mean, obviously, this year isn't going to be the same. It's not going to be a standard sort of Christmas for a lot of people. No. What sort of things do you enjoy doing at Christmas usually?
To be honest, mate, the last, what we're talking, 3 Christmases, we've actually been away. We've been to Alicante in Spain and spent Christmas there. But this year, obviously, with the coronavirus, we haven't been able to do that. So it's a very traditional Christmas for us this year.
Oh, right,
We've ordered us food ready for Christmas Day as Christmas dinner, and you know what? I'm not a massive lover of turkey, I must admit. So I've got a duck. I've got a little duck.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be So that's going to be my Christmas dinner, along with some turkey as well. But
yeah,
we are all looking forward to spending a nice, relaxed Christmas day with a nice traditional Christmas dinner at home. So
sounds lovely.
yeah,
That does.
yeah, it does, mate. It does.
Yeah, it's very much the same sort of thing for me and Mrs. Bear, really, because
Yeah,
we don't you know see much family at Christmas, and obviously this year that's sort of gone out the window quite early on
yeah,
anyway. So it's just going to be the two of us like it usually is, and we've done like you. We got the food in.
yeah.
We're having I mean, we quite enjoy turkey, and we always buy one that's slightly bigger than we need, because then we can sort of eat it for a few days afterwards. In fact, usually the stuff we buy for Christmas tends to last us until February. In some cases, we got the last box of crackers gets eaten, or
Yeah.
something like that. Or, the long life bread or something. Just get to that point where February comes
Yeah.
along and that's it. We finished last year's Christmas food.
It's funny because I mean we our freezers at minute are just rammed
Mm,
with snacks, party snacks, prawn, little
yeah.
things, and Indian snacks and all kinds of stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, we probably won't eat half of that. Not in a
No,
hurry, anyway.
no,
But
you don't, do you? And but I
no,
always find sometimes if you don't buy something, especially at the moment, if well, if we haven't got it, we're not going to get it. It's simple as that. And having done some shopping this week already,
yeah, yeah,
I didn't do too badly, but I'm still going to probably do a run on Monday and just pick up everything else I've missed. And of course, the one thing is that we've got very little non-Christmas food in the house at the moment.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Claire goes, we do need to eat between now and Christmas. You do realise that. I was like, oh, yeah, so we do. Yes, we do need to eat between now and Christmas. So I'd forgotten about that. Oh, dear. But, yes. Yes, I finished work now, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm not back until the 29th.
Oh, nice, nice.
I do usually able to do just one day over the Christmas period, but my role's changed this year. I've now got to do sort of 3 days. I've got to do the 29th, the 31st, which I ain't got anything else going on. So it's nice. I always like to have the week off before Christmas, because I can get into the the sort of spirit. If I can sort of wind down.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you could tell it's been sort of like 8-9 weeks since I last had a break. Because I finished work yesterday and I sort of got home, and by about 7:30 I was sitting there falling asleep. Because I could just feel everything just sort of de-stressing and sort of flowing out of me, and I sort of sat there and thought, this is great, and then
This is great.
and I was like, I was just like, but you just know when you get to that point, it's I'll just stop there, flop, and that's it. And
that's it. I mean, I've got I was just telling you, as we're recording today on the Saturday, I've got 4 to work, and then I'm off for 12. So I'm really looking forward to that nice break, and I'm not back while the 5th of January.
Oh, that's lovely, that, yeah.
Definitely.
Nice.
There's going to be a lot of COD being played, mate.
Well, I mean, most people have forgotten this isn't actually just me and Sean talking about what we're going to be doing at Christmas, because they're actually sort of the matter at hand, which is to talk about some gaming issues,
Some
gaming stuff. But we always start traditionally on the podcast by asking the question: is what have you been playing lately? So this is no different. So what have you been playing lately?
So I have carried on a little bit more with Uncharted 4, which, if you remember last time, it's a free download that when you get the PS5, there's like a small library of free games. There's some really good titles in there, Uncharted 4 being one of them. So I have been playing that. When I first downloaded it, at the last podcast we did, I was giving it quite a lot of attention. It has tailed off a little bit, mainly due to just being busy. Like you say, it's that time of year. So just being a bit busy that I haven't been able to get on Uncharted 4 as much. But I've been doing it in dribs and drabs. I also managed to download, I think it must be an indie game called Bug Snacks, I think. And
Bug Snacks?
Bug Snacks.
Bug, B-U-G?
Yeah. You control these weird little characters, little lumpy characters. And the aim of the game is pure to catch these little bugs and eat them to survive. And I couldn't get into it, in all honesty, Russ. It just didn't catch my attention. In fact, to be honest, I found it more of a kids' game. If you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
There wasn't really much depth to it. Just mindless catching these bugs, eating them, catching more bugs, eating. And
Yeah, that
I
sounds a bit
thought this
monotonous, doesn't it? Really, yeah.
yeah, it really wasn't catching me attention. And I know last time I said COD had fallen out of favour a little bit. Well, we've had an update. Anybody
Is
who
that
plays
because it was
COD,
less sustainable than other sort of first-person shooters, or is it?
it, I think just the map had got stale,
Right.
and it seemed to be obviously normally they'd release a new season every 5 weeks or so, which they have been doing all year. So there were a bit of freshness with every update. The time expired, the 5 weeks expired, then they put it back to the next season. Then they said, "Oh no, we're not doing another season for the Warzone under Modern Warfare. It's now integrated with the new what's it called, Cold War, the Black Ops Cold War game." And so, it kind of went on a bit long, and for the next update. And yeah, with no new changes, nothing really, no been able to spice it up a bit.
Yeah.
It's the attention started to wane on it, but I'm glad to say that it has come back. We've now on season 1. It started again because it's now under like I say, it's integrated with Black Ops Cold War.
Right.
So we're on season 1. However, they haven't changed the Verdansk map, the main map for Battle Royale, which is a bit of a disappointment. But they've added a different map called Rebirth Island. It's a much smaller map than the normal Warzone Battle Royale map. It still does use a Battle Royale premise where the gas closes in. It's a smaller island. You've got 40 teams of trios all dropping in on this small map. It's insane. As you can imagine, mate. There's not many places you can drop in on the map and
Yeah.
and have a bit of a breather. It's intense.
Know all about that from years ago. Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
One of the worst thing in those sort of games is just where you sort of drop in or respawn or what have you, and you can guarantee before you've had a chance to work out what your senses are and where you actually are, bang, you've gone, and you've been dropped somewhere else.
yeah. That's exactly it, mate. It's crazy, but it's injected a bit of life back into it. The premise of this is there's no gulag on this map. You basically, as long as you've got a team member still alive in the game, you'll respawn after about 30 seconds. That time can be reduced by your team member or members still in the game doing damage to other players. So if they're shooting somebody and they manage to break a couple of pieces of their armor, your time will drop. You know what I mean? So I suppose I've made it where, they're giving you an incentive to go and hunt people or to get involved. I think they've done this map, to be honest, Russ, to cut out a lot of the camping, which goes on in Warzone a lot, as I can well testify to. I do it a lot myself. But yeah, I must admit, it's injected an old lease of life into the game. Like I said, the Warzone map hasn't changed, and I am hoping that does get some kind of update shortly, as soon as possible, because I play that game a lot with Joe. She's losing interest fast.
Really?
Yeah. She don't play it much now, and she has said exactly what a lot of these these big YouTubers who play COD have said it needs life injecting into it. But yeah, she's still playing COD, but she's playing the Cold War multiplayer maps. But yeah, she says,
you know, when you think about a new injection of life into it, is it just the sort of the genre, or is it just the actual sort of layout of the maps you've been talking about, or you know, is it just in general? Because you know, it's pretty much now the premium first-person shooter franchise, you know, in sort of gaming, isn't it?
I dare say there's still millions playing it, Russ. It's the layout of the map. The thing is, it hasn't really changed much since day one, which was last March, was it? And you know every single nook and cranny, you know every single place where people are going to be camping, where people are going to be dropping for the contracts and stuff. It's so predictable now. I think that's what it is. And even though, like I said, they've done updates over the course of the year, adding they blew the stadium up. You were able to get into the stadium, whereas originally you could only go around the outside. They've added subways, you know, little things like that on each update. But it's not enough, I don't think now. To be honest, when they said season one were coming, I were really hoping for a complete new map. You know, a whole new map to explore. But that hasn't happened. We've got the Rebirth Island, like I said, but that is a small map. So there's not much to. In fact, I think I've explored all that already. So, but yeah, I mean, I did get a win the other day in solos, and this is the thing. I was absolutely buzzing, and yeah, don't get me wrong, I camped a little bit, but I did try and hunt people down as well. So I did a mixture. I'm not gonna hang my head in shame and and say no, I just got it by creeping around. I did get a little bit involved.
Well, there's no shame in that, cripes. I mean, that's the way I would be doing it. Put it that way, you know. I can't think of any other way I'd want to sort of play that game. The problem is when I play games like that, and anybody who's seen me play anything like first-person shooter on, I think it was a 007 game, wasn't it? On Barely Played.
Yeah.
We'll just see how I play those games. I just sort of stand there and just keep shooting until something happens. And that's why I'm no good at these sort of games, really. But that's how it is. So yeah. All right. So.
That's about it for me, mate. So I don't know about yourself.
Well, I've been playing a couple of things, which I'll save one of them for my other conversation. But I'd probably best speaking to you about this because I know appreciation for sort of this sort of era, and of course, getting people see my video, the ST video, which I put up about picking one of those up. I mean, what a fantastic piece of kit that was.
Yeah.
I've played a little bit. I'll have to put it away again because obviously with the space we got in the room and everything at the moment, so it is sort of behind me under a pile of boxes. But I'm I absolutely love getting it out, and I was just so pleased with the quality of the item.
Yeah.
The disc that came with it. But to play some of those games again, the only thing that disappoints me slightly with it is the sound.
Yeah,
it really is very sort of Master System-esque. It really is. I was even more stunned about the fact they used they did use the ST at the time. They may still have incorporations up until recently. Anyway, used it in sort of music studios. Yeah. I think Eddie pointed that out to me at the time, and I was like, "They really?" Because compared to the Amiga, the sound is like a world apart.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the games that came with this ST, like RoboCop, Batman, the movie. I've got, having played 2 games of death on the Amiga, I've got completely different sounding soundtracks.
Really?
And it just doesn't sound the same at all. Graphically, there's very little to choose between the two. But sonically, rotten. And Kickoff 2, I was playing that as well. Hasn't even got some of the lines drawn on the pitch. The Amiga one was tend to be a better sort of looking version of it, but there's no centre circle drawn on the pitch.
Really?
Yeah, it's I watched a couple of videos afterwards just to double check to make sure what it is. Now I'm not sure whether it's because when I played Kickoff 2, I had an expanded Amiga up to 1 meg. Yeah. Whether there was a different touch, like the advertising boards around the outside, there's actually a net in the goal rather than just sort of drawn in. and you got all the markings on the pitch and everything, or whether or not it was just the fact that I'm playing an unexpanded ST with a standard version. I don't know, but it's the games play pretty much exactly the same, but it's just the sound that gets me. I'm disappointed with the sound, but not disappointed with the quality of the item. It's just brilliant. It really is.
And that's one thing that always stood out for me back in the day, was the difference in the sound. Because I know, I think I mentioned it to you the other day or last year, maybe in the comments, about the public domain scene.
Yes,
the
did,
demo
yes.
scene. Yeah. The Amiga were rife with demos, showcasing obviously the graphics, but the sound as well.
That's right.
But I never seemed to hear about the Atari ST scene, and I always wondered, is that because of, if you like, the inferior quality of the sound? So perhaps, the coders tended to stay away from that. Oh, we'll jump on Amiga because that's got, better sound. So,
but I don't know. You'd have thought there would be a PD scene back then. Because the Amiga was so sort of prolific.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Then I sort of look at homebrew stuff now. I mean, people are homebrewing games for every single system.
Yeah,
we got flipping homebrew Mega Drive games coming out and things like that.
Yeah.
Dreamcast as well. I'm pretty sure as well about it. Yeah,
the recent one just recently done one, haven't they? With an arcade racer on the Dreamcast.
So people are doing things like that. Surely back then, I know it's a completely different sort of thing, but surely there must be some, say, coders and programmers who would try and sort of showcase the ST as the machine it is. But I think probably the biggest sort of difference for me was I wasn't expecting the sound to be great on the ST, and then I loaded RoboCop and it came up with the speech to start with. I thought, oh, that's exactly how the Amiga started, and then it just been sort of a bit plinky plonky. And I remember the Amiga one, and even the graphic came with RoboCop. It flashed on the Amiga version. It's a big sort of the RoboCop logo, and on the Amiga version it would flash, it would go, and then like gunfire would go off.
Yeah.
But on the ST version, it just sort of like flashes. Basically, sort of sends you into an epileptic fit because that's the sort of thing it does. Like, at least on the Amiga version, you got the sound to take your mind off, that sort of thing. But the ST one, no. 10 minutes later, I woke up on the floor. But yeah, I'm really pleased to get one. I'm really enjoying playing with it, and I've had to hook my video up and try and record some footage because my capture card doesn't seem to like anything sort of Super Nintendo backwards in terms of capturing. Don't know why. No idea. I need to look into that. So the reason we've dragged you here kicking and screaming in your elf outfit is to talk about not just games we've been playing lately and Christmas, sort of what your Christmas is going to be, but some Christmas, gaming related memories. And I know we're all going on to a big sort of one-off chat. And I know probably you'll want to keep something back for that, like I am as well. So if you want to give us a couple of your great gaming memories for Christmas, and because you've been playing games a long time, so I'm pretty sure I'm hoping so. Otherwise, it'll be a very, very short segment. You'll have a few to regale us with.
I mean, I can only recall 2 systems that I got for Christmas as my main present. I don't know if people still do that anymore, but when I was a kid, we had a main present, which was, I would imagine, the most expensive present that that Santa gifted.
I think we still do. I know me and Mrs. Bear do. It's we'll always say, "Oh, leave that one till the end."
Yeah.
Or my parents when I was younger, yeah. Oh no, don't open that one yet.
Yeah. But yeah, I can remember 2 systems. Like you say, I probably hold one back. But my first ever gaming memory, was when in 1982, the actual system was released in April, but I obviously got it for Christmas. It was the ZX Spectrum 48K, and it was the rubber keyboard one.
Ah, lovely.
And I've still got it in my head now. I remember opening it and being absolutely, probably, to be honest, the best Christmas present I've ever really had.
Yeah,
Because,
really. Yeah,
yeah,
after all
yeah,
these years, yeah.
yeah, definitely. Because I wasn't expecting it. I know, like some Christmas presents. I know one year they got me a BMX bike, but I knew I were getting it because I had to go for size, to be sized fitted for it.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that one I didn't know about. My memory's a bit vague on any other main presents I have had. I think a telly was one of them, a black and white telly. That may have been before the Spectrum, I think it was. But yeah, the Spectrum, because it was just amazing, and I remember opening it and being absolutely blown away by it. In fact, I probably didn't even want to open any more presents. I just want to get this on telly, man.
Did you make any inquiries or sort of overtures that you wanted one of these for Christmas, or
No, no,
so it was a complete
no, I
spur of the
don't think
moment
so.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I can't even remember if I knew about the Spectrum. But I must have done. I must have done. I don't know if anybody had got one in school. The richer kids that had already had it bought, and look at what I've got. Look at this. I mean, there must have been some way I knew about it, perhaps TV adverts. But yeah, to actually get one for Christmas, was incredible. And obviously, they got me the data set or whatever. They got a cassette recorder.
Yeah.
Got me an interface. Got me a joystick, Kempston joystick,
Ah, yeah.
to go with it. And it did come with a pack of games that survival, make a chip. They were the usual packing
Oh,
games,
was
weren't
that
they, back
the
then?
6-pack or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think people list those on eBay as rare.
yeah.
People, if you own these people, they are not rare. Any bundle you see on eBay has got at least one of those games
One of
in
those
there.
games.
I've
Checker
got,
flag one another.
I think I've got three. I've got like 120 Spectrum games.
Yeah.
I think three of those are Scrabble. I'm not joking. Or survival. It's just
Survival.
yeah.
That one over. Yeah.
When
And
I first picked the Spectrum game, I thought, "Oh, make a chip. That sounds interesting." It's
make
in
it.
every bloody bundle on eBay.
I don't think I ever played that make a chip. I don't think it appealed to me.
I don't think anybody ever played it.
No.
They're all unused.
Survival. That really well. Yeah, you controlled a little animal, didn't you? There were
There's a
several animals you could choose from, and it was
picture of
just
an
like
eagle on the front, isn't it? Yeah.
wasn't it a grid? It was squares, and you just had to move your
Yes.
character around. But I mean, the checkered flag as well. It
Mm.
were your track, green sides, the grass, and then a blue sky, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think. Well, even any scenery.
but then it was like, wow, fantastic, sort of
Yeah,
thing. This is so
exactly.
realistic.
Yeah, but in addition to those, they did actually get me two other games, and they were actually from Marks and Spencers, and they were under the. Can you remember the St Michael brand
They still
of
have St
Marks and
Michael.
Spencers?
They still have St Michael.
Oh, do they?
I've not been there. It's been years since I've been into there. But I mean, I used to get books and things when I was a kid, and used to have St Michael on the front of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Perhaps somebody posher than us can answer that question.
Yeah.
I think last time I went to Marks and Spencer was about sort of 7 years ago because somebody gave me a voucher for Christmas. I thought I'll go and buy some food from there. Oh, Marks and Spencer's
Treat
food,
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was a great line in jacket potato flavoured crisps. Jacket potato and butter crisps. Oh, they were wonderful. They were fantastic. But yeah, that's the last time I went in there.
Well, this packet it were a twin packet. There were two games: Frozen Penguin and Fearless Frank. Fearless Frank, what ace! It's kind of, I say it's hard to explain. It shouldn't be really. It's a static screen platformer, I suppose you could say. You control this little motorbike, this little guy on the motorbike, Frank, fearless he was, and you had obstacles to jump over. There were things moving about on the level that you were on. But it was kind of strange. You had, say, there were 3 tiers, 3 levels on one screen. So you had to start at the top left, go across, avoiding enemies, and as you went off the right hand side, you'd come onto the next level down on the left hand side. Do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
Are you kind of getting it? Yeah. Until you got to the bottom left side, went off screen, and then you come onto a completely new screen with different enemies, different obstacles. Complete, really basic game. All the listeners, I should say, not viewers. Have a look on YouTube. Just look it up and have a look at the amazing game, the amazing very first game really that I came across. But the best thing was my dad used to play it as well, and
there you go.
That was a wondrous thing, He loved it. He loved the Spectrum as much as me. And yeah, we spent hours, absolute hours on Fearless Frank, trying to get that little bit further than each other. I can't remember if there were a nice score, but it was just the fact of trying to beat each other, getting further into the levels.
Yeah.
I can't remember who won, but I will tell you this: my dad could beat me at Daley Thompson's decathlon. His 2 fingers used to go like crazy. I just couldn't get my fingers to go faster than his. He was the king of that game.
Oh,
Daley Thompson's decathlon.
That was a workout and a half, those games, weren't they? Daley Thompson decathlon, you got Super Test, you got Hyper Sports. I remember the first time my dad saw me playing a game like that. He said, "What are you doing with that joystick?" I said, "What you got to do?" He said, "You'll break it." Well, so what? What else? What do you want me to do? Because I got the joystick on the table, started waggling it, and then of course the whole table started vibrating. He's like, "What's going on over there?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, even though we had the joystick, for some reason we favoured the keyboard. My dad did especially. He said, "I'm not bothered with joysticks, son. I'm using my fingers." He was red hot on that game, but it was good that my dad had that interest in it as much as me, really. So, but that is the very first gaming memory. After that, to be honest, the other gaming memories are more recent, really, because obviously the collection of consoles I've got, a lot of them are Christmas presents that Lorraine had bought me. Obviously, she asked me what I wanted, and one year I says, "Oh, I'd love an Amiga CD32," so she got me that. The Atari Jaguar was a Christmas present, and the Philips CDI FZ10, is it? Am I on the right lines here? It's a more console-looking one.
Right, I'm not very up on those sort of things.
Yeah, there were 2 models. One were like a big DVD player, black and square. That's a Philips CDI, isn't it? What's the other one I'm thinking of? 3DO, isn't it?
3DO. That's the other one you got into it. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. I get mixed up with them too.
Well, they're both
as
bad as each other, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, they both had I think the early version, and then they had like a console, the more console-looking versions, didn't they? But yeah, I mean, obviously I got games with them, and I did try them out, but I don't know. Nothing could ever beat that Spectrum memory, purely because I didn't know what I was getting, and it was a real surprise, real nice surprise. Oh yeah,
that's a good thing to get.
Yeah.
I've got a couple. So I'm going to say one for obviously the other half of the chat with the other chats, but the one I'm going to share with you because we talked to him briefly, and again I'm sure you're going to appreciate this was getting the Amiga back in '89.
Oh yeah.
Which we knew about in advance anyway, because we've been badgering my dad for parents for ages to get a computer, and eventually he sort of relented and provided you can get something with some educational benefit attached to it. Because at the time, the Amiga was sort of being sold at about $399 with the Batman pack.
Yeah.
Or you could pay another £100 and have the educational pack thrown in or something. I think he did my dad a deal or something like that.
Yeah.
Where he'd throw in the Batman games if my dad bought the educational pack, which you know, may I add, was the complete waste of money. But we knew we were getting that. That's because what my parents did. Oh, you can't have the games till Christmas. You know, bear in mind, I was like 14 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't have the games until Christmas. Well, that didn't stop me, did it? Because it's a race home from school and have a dig round the house to try and find out where they'd hidden them. Which won't come as a surprise to any my dad is listening, or if my mum's listening from beyond the grave, it won't come to any sort of surprise that I was doing that. And of course, I did find them. So it was sort of like I used to literally race home from school every single day just to play those 3 particular games. Well, actually, to play Batman and New Zealand Story because I wasn't particularly interested in F-18 Interceptor. And of course, it's like sort of feigned surprise. And I go, "Oh, Christmas! Oh, fantastic! I've been waiting to play these for ages."
Yeah.
I think the fact I think I'd finished pretty much half finished Batman at that point anyway. So it was something else. But we could use the computer was left out for before Christmas, but just the educational software to use for it. Which nobody did. Nobody did. All that software that came with it was a. Absolutely. Well, I remember the word processing package that came with it. Because I did try and use it a couple of times. Of course, because it was a 512, you needed at least 1 meg of memory to save anything. So it's completely redundant because my dad wouldn't buy a 512 upgrade until about 3 years afterwards, which was a complete waste of time. But yeah, that was the first, apart from the Atari 2600, which my parents had. That was sort of the very first sort of thing we had for Christmas, and it was like just amazing. Because I was the only person who I knew had one as well. Because
I never knew anybody who had one.
Yeah, and all the kids at school who had computers like that had STs. So one guy I was really good friends with. I said to him, "Are you going to get ST?" I said, "Yeah, we'll probably get an ST." And then, of course, the bloke sent the ST to me dad. He said, "Well, the ST," he said, "that software you're going to get with it will last you about a month." He says, "Don't bother with that. Have the Amiga instead." And I was like, "Oh, great. All the Afterburner, Double Dragon, all these games I used to play in the arcades. Oh, great. No, I want to get those, am I?" And, of course, I found out years later, after I bought, just recently, that the Power Pack, when it came with the ST, sort of like most people had that software and didn't buy many more games because there was loads of games to play with it. It would take them time to get through. So there was more than a month's worth of playing time in that. I don't know where he got that from. He didn't look like a particularly good gamer to me. This bloke doing a sales job with me dad. But funny enough, the year after, if you fast forward 12 months from there, everybody for Christmas got Amigas. Yeah. And people who I'd never ever associated having any interest in gaming got Amigas at school. Come back after Christmas. What do you get for Christmas? I've got an Amiga.
An Amiga.
Yeah. You don't play. I don't see you play a game. You don't talk about games. You don't play games at all. 3 people I got on really well with. 2 of them, I don't think they've even used a computer in their life before then, let alone being given an Amiga for Christmas. But that was that was it. The complete shift in away from the ST towards people who had the Amigas.
Yeah.
So, but that was just having that for the first time, and being able to sort of because we hadn't my dad had always sort of relented from that, and I think probably at that point in time, in I'd say probably about 8-week period between starting November 1989 and ending at Christmas, you can just sort of plot in my life where it all went horribly wrong. Reasonable academic success. Oh no, here comes the Amiga. Oh no, we've fallen off the cliff edge. And as we're going down, oh no, WWF wrestling. Oh shit, we're going right down to the very, very bottom. And that's it. I never recovered after that. So yes. That's pretty much So I can blame the Amiga pretty much for my decline.
I certainly blame the home computers for my decline as well, Russ, because Yeah, I mean, I was never out of my bloody bedroom playing on computers, from Spectrum 64, and then up to Amiga. I've actually got. You just reminded me. I remember getting my first Amiga, and my mum used to run these catalogues back
Oh
then,
yes, 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 yeah,
K's and Littlewoods.
yeah.
She had a catalogue, and they had the Amigas in. They had the Amigas,
Did
and
they really? Wow.
yeah, so much a week, to pay. And I convinced her. I said, "Man, please let me get one, pay for it. You're only on YTS, son. I know, but I will. I'll pay for it." So she bless her, she caved in. She says, "Right, I've ordered you it. Should be here in about a week's time or whatever." So excited. I got on one day, and it was there.
Yeah.
Well, the box was there, and it wasn't the Amiga. She'd ordered the wrong one. She'd ordered some kind of Amstrad word processor.
Oh God,
And
no.
like, "Ma'am, that's not it. That's what you told me." I said, "No," I said, "an Amiga." "Oh, I don't know what you wanted. You just pointed it out." I said, "Oh, ma'am, it's wrong."
So you had many happy hours with your word processor. Yeah.
I was absolutely gutted. So obviously I had to wait, a couple more weeks for her to send it back and then reorder my Amiga. And I finally got the Amiga. And at the time, just a couple of mile away in one of the next towns from me, there was an Amiga club, and it was basically like a village hall or a school hall or something. And loads of these blokes had got the Amiga set up, and I know it's wrong to say, but they were just blatantly copying games for people there and then.
Oh,
Oh, and
backups.
yeah,
The
backup sort of.
backup industry. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. And that I do believe is where I kind of got sucked into the demo scene. One guy had playing the TRSI, which is the Red Sector Inc.
Mm,
Red
mm.
Sector Mega Demo playing, and he were doing people copies of that, I think for £1. And I was like, "Oh, can I have one, mister?" And like, "Yeah, of course you
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
kid." And that was the first ever thing I ever got for Amiga. I know it was horrible to say, I never bought a single game for the Amiga, not one. It's awful to say.
I think the games industry sees me coming because I don't think anybody buys their games. People collecting now sort of buy games and get CEX credit for it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I never find games that are worth picking up to
no,
trade in. Okay, and even then, back years and years ago, although with the Amiga, I was able to get quite a lot of backups.
yeah.
I was still buying games. I would still buy
Well, yeah,
games. Yeah, so
yeah. I mean, fair play to you, and I know,
I
it's a sad thing, because obviously when you were getting backups, you weren't supporting the industry. But I mean, I used to have, them boxes with them flip lids.
oh yes, yes.
Absolutely chock away
I've, I've,
with
I've,
these.
I've got a couple of boxes, sort of double sort of width ones for the Amiga still.
Have you?
Because when I bought rebought an Amiga about 10 years ago, came with a load
Yeah,
of stuff like that. So
right,
I've got like two giant sort of big boxes of sort of backups in there as well.
right, crikey. I mean, and no self-respecting Amiga owner went without a copy of X copy or D copy, did they?
That's right, and that ST bundle I picked up had a copy of ST copy in it as
Did
well.
it?
So yeah, yeah. So one of the utilities on one of the discs. There were very few utilities in there, but it was ST copy. I thought, yeah, guarantee you're going to get one of these in every single bundle you're going to pick up. It is sort of like the survival
Yeah.
of or make a chip of the ST world, sort of thing. You guarantee you're going to pick one up at some point.
It's true.
Oh dear.
Oh God, the memories though.
But I mean, yeah,
No.
they were good memories. I think probably the other Christmas memory I mean actually say other not Christmas related memory, but I think you brought about catalogues. Couple of instances I can remember with that one. I think that the one was less catalogues and more to do with the fact that you could buy these in the back of the computer magazines. Also, these adverts where you could buy games from, weren't there?
Yeah, yeah,
Special Reserve is the one that every sort of remembers. But there were the other ones at the time. There was a company called Castle Computers, which were absolutely based over in Nottingham, Derby, something like that. And you always went to the magazine. Why these prices are so much cheaper? Why are these prices so much cheaper? So I'd sort of go to my mum. I think the one year I sort of to my mum, there's a list of games I want. Christmas or birthday coming up, or can you order me those? Of course, you must have done it over the phone, order it by phone, pay by card. Or fill out the slip and send it off, and 6 weeks later you get your game. So that's how it used to be back then. But I think the one year, I think it was when Chase HQ was coming out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was maybe the Christmas 1990. That one possibly.
Right.
I'm thinking it was definitely. I'm sure it was a big Christmas release because usually those games sort of came out then. I might be wrong. I can't remember. And I sort of said, can I want this game, Chase HQ. And there's a place down in London because I always got to try and find the cheapest price. That one there sort of thing, and I'll pay you. Taking out my pocket money or something. And she said, okay, she ordered it anyway. And after about 2 or 3 weeks, I said, that game hasn't come yet. And she went, we didn't do anything. About 5 weeks later, the game came through. I don't know whether we ordered
5 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know whether we ordered it at the wrong time. I don't know whether we pre-ordered it or what have you. But when it arrived, it should have been for the Amiga. So when he got it out of the box, look, the box in the box, Atari ST, didn't it? She waiting 5 weeks for the bloody thing to turn up. You sort of check inside, the box has got, it's an ST disc. Great, it's got to get back. So she's on the phone and rings them back. And then we send it back, and then I think within about 10 days it came back again, and all they'd done was put a sticker over the box on the outside, just put a Commodore 64, Commodore Amiga sticker over it, and shoved the Amiga disc inside. It was the same box.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but, I mean, that was it. But yeah, that's what you had to do all those years ago.
Yeah.
Very, very strange way of doing it. But you mentioned catalogues, that sort of come back to me, because that probably would have tied in with the year afterwards as well.
Yeah.
And I think the other one, I think the last one I can remember, this section of the podcast anyway, with yourself, was a game called Ferrari Formula 1.
Right.
If you remember that, it was an Electronic Arts game. I think it came out on the Commodore 64, which was tape and disc, and I think it came out on the 16 bits as well. And the magazines used to rave about this game. Rave about it. And I got hold of it, and the first thing I do, you control the bloody car with a mouse.
With mouse?
With a mouse?
Oh, no.
So I was like, what on earth? It's impressive. It's literally unplayable.
Yeah,
and I thought, how did this game get so highly rated? It wasn't an expensive game to pick up by the time I got it, because it'd been out for quite some time. It was just borderline unplayable. And because it was like, from this technical sort of point of view, needing just a suspension, I'm playing a bloody computer game. It's not going to feel like a car, is it? Because there's no force feedback. And I'm 14 years old. I don't know about suspensions and tyre pressures and whatever. But it goes to show that people sort of rave about a game. They may have been technically minded and thought, this is really good. You can do this, and it's fantastic. Like cars, I don't like cars. It's not for me. Sort of find out painfully that it's a waste of time.
I understand you, mate. I do. Oh dear.
Well, I've got to say, mate, I've really enjoyed doing this, having a bit of a chat with you one-to-one, because you've been able to get a chance to do this. And what I'm going to do is sort of finish this part of it now, and then hopefully when we come back after a brief interlude, I'll be talking to a couple of other guys. But Sean, like I said, mate, thank you so much for coming on and talking to me about this. It's been a hoot. It's always nice when we do something like this, isn't it? And I just wanted to sort of, is there anything you message you want to sort of pass on to the listeners out there for Christmas and New Year?
Yeah, basically to everyone listening, have a very Merry Christmas, and hopefully 2021 will be, a better New Year for us all. But take care, everybody.
Here, I support that entirely. And if you get woken up on Christmas morning by a middle-aged man in wearing an elf suit, you know who it is. The bells on his shoes, yeah. The bells are really important, because if it's somebody else, it's not Sean. We know his secret there. Oh, dear. Mate, this has been hilarious. Again, I will speak to you before Christmas, but I just like to wish you a happy Christmas and a happy New Year to you and yours as well. And
same to you.
Have a good time, mate. And like I said, thanks so much for coming on. And when we come back after a brief interlude, hopefully I'll have somebody else to talk to. But we'll see you on the other side of this piece of music. And welcome back. After that brief musical interlude, we say goodbye to Sean as he totters off into the winter wonderland, and we welcome two more guests for the second part of this very special Christmas tNb gaming podcast. And I'm very pleased to say that we have with us now for the rest of the broadcast Roller Core, which is Eddie. Hi, Eddie.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, everyone.
And a ho, 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 and a Merry Christmas to you as well. Are you all right, my man?
Not too bad, other than me banging headache from drinking too much grape juice the night before.
I told you, it's that expensive stuff, mate. It doesn't agree with you. Stick to drinking the cheap stuff. That's what everybody else does.
Hi.
And we've also got Gernaldino Plays Rob with us as well. Hi, Rob.
Hello, ho, ho, everybody.
Hello. We've got a Christmas greeting at this time. Yeah. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I wasn't drinking alcohol last night like an idiot.
Like an idiot? Oh, I thought it was more sensible. Is that not the best way to do it? You say you don't turn up for a podcast recording with a hangover.
Is that tonight then, when you're going to be the idiot?
Why not? I've got work in the morning.
Well, there we go. So obviously, just explain to the guys before we started doing this, we sort of talked about Christmas memories and obviously what they'll be doing for Christmas and what they've been playing. So, Eddie, I'll start with you first. I mean, obviously, since I recorded this first half with Sean, and now I'm talking to you guys here, obviously a lot of things have changed in the previous sort of 12, 24 hours or so. I mean, have your plan, in terms of what you usually do at Christmas, are your plans any different this year to what you usually be doing?
Yeah, completely zero, nothing.
Oh dear.
Yeah, to be honest, Christmas for me, it's completely different every year. I'm either at my friends are at mine, or at a family's, like a different family. So it's usually, I never have the same Christmas more than once in a row, more than twice. I know. Yeah, it's never the same. So this is going to be a completely unusual one this year, where I'm just going to be sitting at home and probably getting drunk, going on streams.
Yeah, because so that's the thing with the community. Again, last night we were all talking about it. Thinking if people haven't seen that, there's Dainster's a special Christmas Royal Rumble stream which went out on Saturday night, which was a roaring success, and everybody who was involved who really enjoyed it. And I know the whole community once again showing how fabulous they are, rallying around each other, and the call to arms to those people who may be on their own this Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've got to say, I'm going to come to you very shortly about that, Rob, because you're pretty much in the same boat as well. Because of what's happened is that people aren't going to think they are on their own at Christmas, because we had this wonderful sort of community spirit and putting everybody together and doing all these streams. And I know it was very, very prominent on messages last night, wasn't it?
Very much so. Yeah, I mean that's the best thing of it. I mean, even though it's a really bad situation out there at the moment, at least something really cool has come out of it, which, yeah, it's been really good, just meeting everyone and having the opportunity to actually speak to people off YouTube, and everyone's just so great, really.
That's it. I think when we all get together at one point, there's going to be a lot of hugging and crying.
Yeah, definitely crying. Definitely.
Yeah, I think a lot of crying. Yes, I think there will be an awful lot of that going on. I take it as well. I mean, yours will be different. Your Christmas would be different as well, Rob, now to what it would have been beforehand.
Yeah, just been screwed over by the introduction of a new tier a little bit, unfortunately, because my sister lives in a different part of the country, so I won't be seeing her and her kids now. But my parents do live in the same town as me, so hopefully that'll be all right, and I can go around there for a bit. But for me, Christmas is, I'm not really a big into it, but Christmas is always about the kids, so I wanted to see my sister's kids, and that is the highlight of Christmas for me now. And unfortunately, it's been lost. But we as a family have been video calling nearly every day. Well, not nearly, twice a week since the first lockdown started. We've got these Facebook portal things, and every Thursday and Sunday we sort of phone each other and have a chat for a good sort of hour or so. So yeah, we'll just be doing Christmas over a Facebook portal. So.
I know a lot of people will be
with
doing
my
that
sister,
as well.
that is. Yeah, but yeah, hopefully I'll still get around to see my parents and the 3 dogs, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I think as well, like with this lockdown, I think a lot of people have been introduced to sort of like streaming, speaking, like, like Zoom or like StreamYard or something like where we can actually do video calls as groups, which it's something I never even thought about last year, but I've done it so much this year going forward. It's been brilliant.
I think I've
every weekend.
I think before this happened, apart from maybe two Skype conversations with my sister who lives in New Zealand, I've never used anything like this before. So even I know we've done 2 sort of StreamYards, haven't we, for the podcast over the course of this year. And I've been on so many different streams. I've got, I think, another 2 or 3 lined up before the end of the year as well. I've never done so. I've never even heard of Zoom before the start of this year. No one had heard of Zoom. It used to be nice, Nolly, I'm pretty sure, back in the day. Is a Zoom like a spaceship sort of?
Could well have been.
A multicoloured one or something like that. I'm sure there was a Zoom.
I bet their stocks have zoomed into the stratosphere as well, haven't they?
But that,
all
yeah, that's
all I can really say about the community this year and on generally starting YouTube, in general, is I've gone from people I watch to people I interact with to people I associate with to people I call friends and finally to people I call close friends. It's literally, that is how the timeline has gone, probably only in a matter of months, So no, it's been awesome. It really has been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, as well, to add to that as well, I think I probably speak to you guys more than I actually speak to my friends I've had for 30 plus years.
That's true. That really is true.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. And it's but it's more amazing how close we've all grown together by actually not being in the same room at the same time. I mean, our story, the 6 of us getting together, it's been very well documented across the tubes this year. But it's all the people that I like Rob says, we're classed now as good friends and close friends and people I'd want to sort of meet up in real life with. And we've made that connection over this, which is really weird.
I think that's the beauty of YouTube as well. Like, because we're actually making videos and we're actually putting ourselves out there. We're not making like personas up or anything like that so much. We are actually, you can kind of weed out the people that do, and us lot, we're just who we are. Like, I've met both of you, and when I've met you, you're both the same as what you come across like on your videos. So yeah, I think that's why we choose our own friends, and it's sort of like a friend dating agency.
Although, can I just add, Andy, even though you did call me a different name when I surprised you to start with, I was like, Donny, I turned up, didn't I? And I went, guess who? And he called me something else.
Yeah, I mean, when Eddie came down to see me, I mean, he's had the tour and everything. I mean, it's and I would never, no one's ever seen that stuff before. No. Apart from, I think, one of my close friends, I say my dad. There, nobody's ever seen all that stuff. So I'll tell you, like Claire's brother as well. But no one's actually, Al was here as well. No one's ever actually had the guided tour around the pantry. So it's like, never would have thought that would have happened sort of 12, 15 minutes ago.
Guided tour, was that standing in the middle and spinning round?
Yeah, it was literally. It was, because there wasn't anywhere else to go in there. You should have been in here yesterday when I was talking to Sean, because I had Mrs. Bear. She was working on Saturday, so she sat next to me on the computer, and I was sat down the other side of the desk talking to Sean doing a podcast. It was really strange. Very, very, very strange for there being there. So obviously we'll touch a bit more on some Christmas memories a bit later on. But let's talk about, as we always do on the podcast, I asked Sean the same question yesterday, sort of like what we've been playing since we've last talked. You get some gaming related stuff into the podcast rather than just talk about Christmas all the time, because you do get the impression sometimes with what's been going on, people are getting a bit sick to death of the word Christmas. You can have Christmas, now you can't have Christmas.
It's Christmas? I didn't even know.
Well, I mean, I'm looking outside today. It looks like it's a really nice sunny day out there. I mean, yesterday it was that warm. We didn't have the heating on yesterday. It came on yesterday morning. Didn't turn it on in the afternoon or the evening. And it's like a week before Christmas. That ain't right, is it?
Exactly. I mean, I went car booting this morning. I think it's the first winter car boot that I've been to where I've not even needed gloves. I didn't even need my jacket.
Yeah. But it is meant to be going colder, I think, on Thursday, so it might actually start to feel like Christmas just before it's about to happen when you can't actually have Christmas.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have a snowy Easter instead.
Well, we usually do, don't we? Don't forget the Beast from the East, 2 years ago. That was March, when the country had 6 inches of snow or something and ground to a halt for 3 days, and it was minus 15 outside.
Crazy.
But that was the last time. But yeah. So anyway, Eddie, what have you been playing since we last spoke to you? Because obviously
since we last spoke.
Oh well, maybe not since we last spoke. I think it was last time in October. I don't know.
How long is this podcast again?
Give us the edited highlights.
All right, okay. So,
shall I leave?
I'll give you a phone call in an hour, Rob, when he's finished. All right.
All right, cheers, mate.
Well, a couple of ones that I'm going to blast through quickly because, again, Rob introduced me to the fun of these indie games that are like really quick just to complete and get like high scores and stuff like that. One that you mentioned recently was Awesome P2.
Right.
Yeah.
So I played that one, and yeah, that's pretty cool. It's basically, like kind of the Game Boy graphics of the green and black sort of thing, and you're controlling a little P across the doing a bit of platforming, and it's just super hard platforming. And to get all the achievements, you got to get all the coins and everything. So yeah, proper hard platforming. Another one, I can't remember if Rob's played this one or not. I think he has. Iroh Hero.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So another one that I got platinum on. That's kind of like a shmup. It's quite fun. It's kind of got a Karuga style like gameplay to it, where you've got like you can absorb bullets as long as you change your colour yourself. Yeah. So yeah, pretty cool. I mean, I would never pay more than a few quid for any of these games, really. But I think that's the point, really. It's just kind of like throwaway gaming, where it's kind of got like one little niche part to it, where it kind of makes you enjoy it for like a short period of time. Another one, what is it? Birthday of Midnight. What was that one again? I can't remember.
That's a little Angry Birds style game with the way you shoot your character, and you've got to get into the hole at the end, haven't you?
That's the one. Yeah, that was quite fun actually. Quite good.
Birthday of Midnight. Has that got any sort of like relevance to what the game's actually about? Are there any birthdays, or would it go dark at any point?
I think you might be a slice of cake. Or something like that. You look like a little marshmallow or something.
A little white square, basically.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So yeah, more than I thought it was then. Okay.
Yeah. Hebroxia, another shmup that is very average, not great, but like, I don't know, something about it just makes me go through it. And I think it's the fact that you can get a platinum very easy. Kind of, you've got that end goal in sight and it's very achievable. Whereas if you get like a full price game, the majority of the time I would never go for a platinum, so it's kind of, I don't know, I'm getting into this platinum hunting.
Did you get it on Awesome P2? Did you get a platinum? Because that's not a straightforward one. That's that one's not quick and easy.
Well, I think we was chatting about that game on a stream, like a private stream one night.
Because it's if you die, it's like restart the level. It's no checkpoints. It's very unforgiving.
No,
but did you also notice with the graphics that obviously it's meant to look like it's on a CRT, but that they actually shaped the screen as well in a CRT
so it's
shape,
like bent in the corners.
Yeah. It's literally shaped like a CRT as well.
Yeah, you're a bugger of that one because I think we were chatting on a private stream about it, and I think I was playing it while I was chatting, and obviously because it is quite hard, it was quite hard to do and put the concentration needed to get all the coins. So I think when we finished, I carried on playing it. I think I was playing it until like 6 o'clock in the morning to to get that bloody platinum. So yeah, no sleep again for that one.
There is the odd one or two levels with a really horrible moment you have to get past.
Yeah,
and it's frustrating. Yeah. Good game though. First one's a little bit kinder if you've not played the first one.
No, just to have the second one. So I'll probably get the other one. I think they're like £2 games, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, so, £2 or £3. They're not expensive.
Yeah. A full price. We'll go to the full price games now. Valfaris, a game I picked up fairly recently. Picked up this year. PlayStation 4 game, and basically it's Contra, but in a heavy metal world, sort of proper sci-fi, very neon coloured. Oh, amazing game. I absolutely love this game. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's heard of a game called Slain.
No, I've heard about Faris, but I haven't heard of Slain.
Well, basically there's a game called Slain, and it's by the same people. This is sort of a spiritual sequel to it, and Slain was very hard. Like, it was like I don't even know how I even completed it. Whereas this, it's got like it brought down the difficulty a little bit and just makes it a completely fun and enjoyable game throughout. Absolutely joy to play. So yeah, like I say, if you enjoy your Contra style games, like proper 16-bit style, it's probably not quite 16-bit. It's probably like 32-bit if it was running on a Sega Saturn PlayStation kind of graphics. But yeah, beautiful game. And every time you get past the checkpoint, the lead character just does a bit of a headbang with his hair.
That's a nice little touch. Little touches like that always make a bit of a difference, don't they?
Exactly, yeah. So next up, let's go through Gunlord X, another sort of like retro style game. So basically, this game, Gunlord, it was originally made for the Dreamcast about 10, 15 years ago. So after like the Dreamcast had completely died and other consoles had come in place, people obviously was carrying on making games, as people probably know, and Gunlord was one of them. And yeah, it's been recently ported over to the PlayStation 4 and the Switch, and it's been made a little bit better, sort of like a few bit extra levels. And this basically is just a love letter to Turrican. Absolutely beautiful game again. And yeah, if you like Turrican, where it's in fact, it is just like a Turrican. It must have been originally made as like sort of a Turrican game, and then they realised they can't use the name, and it made its own thing. But yeah, it's sort of like a Euro platformer, so it's one of them that you've got a lot of collectibles, and you could just get lost in the levels. You really can. There's just like so many, like when you go down like a platform and you're like, do I go up, left, down?
Yeah. And
you just like, yeah, you could just be on a level for hours and hours just trying to find new bits. Absolutely love that game. And there's even like some shmup sections to it as well.
All right. So it's a bit of a mixture of everything by the sound of it.
It is, yeah. So like I say, proper love letter to that genre. And yeah, completed that. It got quite hard. It's not like completely hard all the way through. It's just them bloody bosses. Bosses are really hard on this game. But you have like you can use continues, so it's good. It's all good. Another game, actually another cheap game. I know Rob mentioned this recently, called Switch and Shoot.
Yes, that's my fault.
Yes, it is your fault, because I'm stuck at 81% at the moment and I can't platinum it.
It's a tough completion, mate. You'll have my respect if you get it.
Yeah, so basically you press a button and you shoot and then you change directions, and that is the premise of the game. Very simple looking graphics, but I really like it. It sort of looks like Space Invaders, but like a little bit more going on.
It's very much a one more go game, isn't it?
Very much so. And that's the problem, because you can lose hours in it. So basically, the achievements that I've got left to get is you've got to beat the boss a certain amount of times. And I think I'm at 20 of 25 to get the completion. But it takes a while to get to that boss. And it's because of that one more go thing. You'll get to a certain point and then you'll press a button twice by mistake. And you kind of like go into the direction of a shot or an enemy and like die and then have to do it all over again. It's a killer. But yeah, that was a fun one. Blazing Chrome. I know you played that one. Another Contra style run and gun.
Yeah. I've heard you mention that one before, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite expensive if you was to get the physical version of it, but there was a sale the other day and I think it was like £4, and I thought, do you know what? There's no way I'm getting a physical one. Why not just pay £4 and give it a good go? And yeah, loving it, but I can't complete it. It's really hard.
Yeah, I only done it on the lowest level, and I started playing on the normal level, and I got so far, and I was like, I will return to it, and then it left Game Pass as well. So, but yeah, no, it's brutal, and even just on normal.
But I think them kind of games are good because it gets you to come back to them.
Yeah.
It's probably not a really long game. It's designed after a Super Nintendo game. So realistically, you're probably looking at 30 minutes of gameplay if you was to complete it all in one go. But it's not as simple as that. It's got the old Super Nintendo style like difficulty, so it gets you coming back for more. So that was a good one. Nearly there. We're nearly there. Sister Royale. But it's not just called Sister Royale. It's called, hang on a second, I've got it here. It's called Sister Royale. I'm being harassed by 5 sisters and it sucks.
Is that your critique of the game, or was that just
tagged
on the end? Yeah.
That is the name of the title. And
that's really poor sort of like promotional work, isn't it? You see the word "and it sucks" on the end of it. Why should I buy this? You're telling me it sucks. I don't want to buy it.
I think it's the fact that he's getting harassed by 5 sisters that sucks.
Oh, I see. Oh, right. Okay. I think they need a bit more work on their translation, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, it is a very Japanese game, I've got to say. So basically, this one is, I pre-ordered this in January, February, and I got it like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So yeah, it took a while to come, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's basically it's a shmup. Of course, it's another shmup, but it's made by the people that did Castle Shikigami. I don't know if you guys know that one. Quite a big one. It's on the last game they made was Castle Shikigami 3, and that was on the Wii. And this is the first game that's been made since then. So I think it's like 12 years between games. So it's quite a big release in some ways because of that. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. It's one of them games where if you scrape towards the bullets, you've got two different shots. You either get a stronger shot or you get more points. Depends on what shot you use when you get close to the bullet. So it's a proper risk reward game. And yeah, I'm so close to getting a one credit clear. But there's one boss that really destroys me. I can beat the last boss without using any continues or anything like that. But the fourth boss is really destroying me, and I just need to get it. Need to get that one credit clear, and then I can move on. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. I mean, there is more, but like I say, we could be here for some time.
Well, thank you for giving us the highlights there, and yeah, it's amazing when people sort of recommend games. You mentioned Rob mentioned a couple previously, and you know, whether people sort of when they hear about something, go and sort of look it up, or they say, I've heard about it as well, and someone's got a recommendation from it. I get that from the Wii videos I've been doing, because so many people sort of said to me, oh yeah, I missed that game, or that sounds really good, or I didn't know that existed, or whatever. So, you know, word of mouth sometimes does the trick, doesn't it, really, I suppose? Yeah.
Well, there is other games that I'm playing on Saturn as well. But yeah, me, Dylan, and a few others, we've got like a bit of a WhatsApp group where we're actually submitting scores of certain games, and we're just like trying to beat the scores for each other. Yeah, I'm just getting decimated by him and bloody Craig. But that's all the fun, isn't it? They've got a higher score, and I've got to try and beat that score. Yeah. So like I say, it gets you coming back to play games a little bit more.
That's right. I always, when I was younger, I used to look at the high scores in the magazine. If I got a game for, you know, not the Amiga or whatever, probably playing back then, I would sort of look at those scores and think, right, I'm going to try and beat it. And no matter what I tried to do, there was a score on Robocop, and I just couldn't get nowhere near it. But I could complete that game with my eyes shut, and I could still get nowhere near the score. I still can't work out how they managed to get that score.
I didn't even know you could get a score on Robocop. But I suppose you got, back in them days, you got a score in every game, even though there's no reason to. That's
right, yeah. You're actually right. Batman was the same. Another game which, again, I got nowhere near the high score on. But there was a high score for it.
People learn the tricks, don't they? Like where the bonuses are and multipliers are and things that you don't know of. Like I remember going for an achievement, I think, in the first Metal Slug game on the Neo Geo port that they put on the Xbox One, and I was like, how the hell do you make that point target? Because you had to get X amount of points within 5 minutes. Like, how the hell do you do that? And it was just like that. I think I accidentally discovered that if you shoot up in, I think it's either the first or second tree, this bonus point thing drops out of the tree, and it's worth like 20,000 points, which is a lot in Metal Slug. And that was what helped push me just over to getting that achievement.
Cool. So which is great.
People find them sort of things.
Yeah, it's great if you can get a decent score just before you die. You know, so how far I can get on one life on that game, you know. So 20,000 bonus.
It set you a limit of 5 minutes. The game literally stopped after 5 minutes. So the first level is the one that sort of goes, you know, it's not too bad. It's not too bad, and then it's like, haha, here's level 2. Have that.
yeah. It's sort of like being led into, you know, come in here. It's really, really nice, and then it's be whacked over the head with a lead pipe as soon as you walk to the door. You know, it's chronic. Great stuff, Eddie. Thanks very much for that, and obviously we'll catch up with you next time we have you on and see if we can find out some of those Saturn games you've been playing, because I'm sure quite a few people will be interested to see about those. In the meantime, Rob, what have you been managed to sort of occupy your time with when you've been sitting in front of the Xbox, I expect?
Well, it's just what I was on last week, because Eddie had a lot there. But no, I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't been playing a great deal because I've been very busy actually being at work and things like that. But a couple of indie games I've been playing. The first one is Raging Justice, which is a Streets of Rage. Well, it is pretty much a Streets of Rage clone. It's okay. It's not brilliant. The one thing I now appreciate in Streets of Rage 4, a mechanic they've added, is they had obviously most beat 'em ups. When you punch, if there's something on the floor and you press punch, you pick it up. In Streets of Rage 4, they've now got a dedicated button to do that. So if you're punching someone, you don't start picking it up, which then leaves you open while you're accidentally picking it up because it's on the floor next to them. Unfortunately, Rage Injustice doesn't have that, but it has an absolute ton of stuff on the floor a lot. So a lot of the time, you're like, yeah, you're in the middle of the fight, you're doing all right, and all of a sudden there's a hammer on the floor and you're picking it up, and the guy just booted you in the head, because you've done that.
One of those games where you see a lot of power ups, and sort of extra items, but you don't actually get a chance to pick them up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not it's not an awful game, but it's not great at the same time. You know what I mean?
It's one of them games that's got a cool mechanic, though, hasn't it? The arrest feature.
Yeah. If you sort of there's another bar below their energy bar, isn't there? And if you can fill that up before obviously killing them, then you can press B to arrest them. So yeah, that's something new and different. But I tend with that, the only way I could get to make an arrest was to continuously throw them, because if you start punching them, they're gonna die before they get to that phase of just being dizzy and you can arrest them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to keep throwing them, running across, picking them up again, throwing them, and then after I threw them for a third time, that would just about do it. But yeah, I mean, no, it's not great. As I say, it's not great, but at the same time, it's not horrific, and it's fun enough to sit down with for a bit. But yeah, the only other indie game that I played and put a bit of time into, and that was a game called Dead Dungeon, and nearly everybody knows Super Meat Boy. It is pretty much a Super Meat Boy clone.
Right.
It's got 50 levels. And I mean, if you sit down with it in a night or a day, you can get it done through repetition and learning and things like that. It hasn't got any achievements that make you want, to, or demand that you play the game all the way through without dying or something like that. But yeah, I remember the level before the boss, man. Jesus Christ, I said a few choice words. I literally was playing that for an hour, because once you get to a certain point, it introduces portals. And there's this section where you have to go into a portal, and it drops you from the roof, and you have to go around a spinning blade on your right. So you have to press left straight away to get around that. But then you have to press right to avoid another spinning blade on the other side. And then as you get to the bottom, you have to do an air jump, because you only get one, obviously, and press left under that spinning blade to get into the next portal to take you into the next section. Yeah. Then you get past that. And then it's got these two fucking... Oh, sorry. You get these two... you got these two homing cannons which follow you around, and you have to navigate your way up to 4 platforms to get out of the level. And it's just like, when I finally got past that section for the first time after trying, I literally jumped on the first platform, started jumping across the second one, and got shot in midair. I was just like, serious? But yeah, no, just perseverance and learning and memorization and muscle memory and just the will not to give up eventually got me through it. I mean, the final boss ain't too bad. That's the funny thing about it. It's just the odd few levels that will frustrate you. And another thing I didn't realise is it only saves your progress automatically every 10 levels. I got to level 26 the first time I played it, after struggling on level one of the 20 levels was a bit of a bugger. And I went back to the game. I was like, why am I on level 20 again? And I got up to where I was before, and then I had to do something. I went back, loaded up again, and it was gone. I was like, right, do you know what? I'm just going to sit through and finish it. And I nearly missed a stream that I wanted to watch. I literally finished it about 10 minutes before I was in, that stream was due to start.
These games are dangerous, aren't they, for that kind of thing?
Yeah, but mate, if you like Super Meat Boy, you will enjoy it. And as frustrating as it was that made me swear on pod here, I believe it or not, I did actually enjoy it. But because I keep up with the easy completions, but at the end of the day, we all like to be challenged every now and again.
Well, I'll just put it in my saved folder until it gets onto sale. So
that's what I say to people. If you hear me talk about any game in my Million Gamer Score thingy, I always say put it in your wish list, because now what they've done on the Series X is you get a notification if a game on your wish list goes in the sale. So it's a good thing to do.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
But
PlayStation, listen to this. This will be a great idea for you.
I love what they've done. A lot of people don't. Some people just don't like change, but some people don't like what they've done with the store. I think it's brilliant. The store before was crap to navigate. Now it's brilliant. Love it. And people are always asking me, "How do you keep up with all these indie games?" I literally check the new games every other day, and I know when the game Deals with Gold is every Tuesday. Always check it every Tuesday, and I say I'm always in that store every couple of days because some random sales pop up, and I'm always looking at the indie stuff. Got to keep on top of it.
Well, PlayStation's got worse since like the PlayStation 5's come out, because before, like, it used to give you option. If you like went to a game, say, and you enjoyed it, you can go onto it and it'll give you suggestions for other games that you might like. That's disappeared now.
Oh dear, that's a bit. It's quite funny because all the easy completion ones, like, clearly have been hit by achievement hunters, so you get recommendations below, and they're all the other easy ones.
I know that's what's good about it, though, isn't it? I mean, that's how they make. Surely they must make money more, but because of that, because everyone does it, don't they? Really, because you want to go, what other games are like this? Let me have a look. And now, how the hell are you going to find out?
Talking about making money, some devs have proper latched, or one particular dev has proper latched on to the achievement community, and what they've done is some of their games were easy 1000s anyway. A couple of the games were quite tricky, and they changed the achievement list to an easy one. Right, that's one thing. But now what they've done is they've started rolling out a second 1000G, an update for every game that is also probably even easier than the original 1000 they put on it. So you've got all of these games now which have been updated to 2000G that are easy, and they are proper taking advantage of the gamer score system and achievement hunters.
So why have they put a second lot of 1000G then? What's the reason for that?
Because you can do that. You can do that now. Ever since the Xbox One, back in the 360 days, it was you've got 1000G, that's it. You know, if DLC is made for the game, then there'll be some added to the DLC. But now, like Gears 4, down your drink, Steve. Gears 4 has got 4000G, and they slowly they was adding like 500G like every year or every so many months, and they got it up to 4000 in the end. But yeah, any dev has the ability now to just add gamer scores to their game if they want to. Forza does it all the time as well.
Amazing. What happened to that nice 1000G round number?
Oh, it's a bugger if you're looking for your gamer card and you go and you see, hang on a minute, that was 100%. Now why is it 90? Now why is it 97 or 85 or even 50% if they add another 1000 to 1000? You know, I've got a couple more still to do. Like 4 games this week from that dev had the 2000 treatment. I've done 2 out of the 4. I've got to do the other 2 soon. But I spoke about those in the previous pod, so I won't bring those up. But apart from that, I played a game that you played with me when you came to visit Eddie. I played some more Dodonpachi Resurrection this week.
Cool. Any more achievements from that one?
Yeah, popped a few more out of it by playing some of the different modes and just doing a few different things. I'll never get to completion on that because that's just rock hard.
What, like 1 credit clear is definitely
with every ship. Yeah, no, not happening. It's like not happening.
No, I think we blasted through a few credits on that one, didn't we?
Yeah. It was fun though, man. It was fun.
Yeah,
I did like it. But apart from that, I'll just add one more because I've had the Santa Sean OGE Xbox out again, and I was talking on a after party with Al. There's his one mention per stream, and we were talking about that broken Mega Drive game, The Death and Return of Superman, and I said how it's even broken on there because obviously they've copied the ROM and it's broken. It's hilarious. It won't load up. It's literally the only game that won't load up. So I played the SNES version, and do you know what? It's not awful. I mean, it's a bit of a Joe Basic side scroll and beat 'em up, but it's fun. I mean, it's only got about 3 or 4 different enemies. But
I think I played that on emulation years ago, and it's only sort of come to light with these conversations that have been going around about that game. That I didn't realise the Mega Drive game itself was broken. So.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's so expensive because they recalled it, didn't they, after they released it and refunded people, and just I guess some people decided they would like to keep it, or they just didn't play it like we do now when we buy a game and put it in a backlog for a year, and then when they get round to it, it's like too late.
Yeah.
To be fair, the SNES one is equally as expensive, if not more.
It's probably expensive because you can't buy the complete game on the Mega Drive.
Yes, I think
It's probably upped its price. But I like it. It was all right. I was going to say it's not. I can't imagine it won Game of the Year whenever it came out. But at the same time, I found it quite fun. It's a shame that
if you want a proper Batman beat 'em up, though, you need Batman Returns on the SNES.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that is actually a great game. I've always avoided it for years, thinking it'll be just some generic fighter or something like that. No, not all. It's brilliant.
No, I have played that one. It is brilliant.
Yeah, Death and Return of Superman is not an awful game, but I wouldn't be recommending it too much to people who haven't got it.
So you're not going to be saving £800 anytime soon to...
I doubt
just to
it,
play the first level on a bit.
Yeah, I doubt it, to be honest with you. I think it seems a bit of a stretch, really. Even for me.
That's your year's budget of years. That's like 3 years budget for you, isn't it? Gone.
That's it. Yeah, so gone in a whiff. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So thanks for sharing those again, Rob. We have a gamer score update. So we always get one.
Oh dear. So
I always ask him, and he forgets.
Well, last time I said you want it, and you mugged me off. So I thought, right, I'm not bringing it up this week.
Expect the unexpected.
Okay, and so I'm getting it. To be honest with you, I haven't done an awful lot since last week. Only just under 5,000, I think. So 590,765, which means I need to pull my finger out.
Yeah, because you were hoping to get the 600,000 by...
No, I will. I've just been a bit lazy and a bit slow, and God forbid playing games for fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shock.
Don't know how you have the time.
People tag me with literally, they talk about a game and then they go, the game score's not that bad. And I was like, do you know what? I do play them for fun as well. It's not all about that.
It's not all about getting to that magic million. There is experience of playing the games there.
All right?
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Right, so thanks for sharing those, guys. Obviously, that's what we try and do on a weekly basis on the podcast. We're going to fill the rest of the time this week, as we did with Sean earlier. And that's, I know we probably would have covered between the three of us some memories last night on Danester's channel, but just sort of reminiscing on Christmases past and any sort of gaming-related memories that you may have relating to that. I don't have all that many. In fact, I was really desperately struggling to find some. He's asking that question, any childhood toys you had when you were a kid that you could remember, and I was really struggling until Pete Armour came on before me and mentioned Action Force, which for some reason triggered Star Wars in my shrapnel-encrusted brain, because I couldn't think of any sort of toys I had when I was a kid. So yeah, any sort of gaming-related memories that we haven't shared before, or that you know?
Sorry. After you, Rob.
No, I was going to say you go, Eddie. But
okay. Well,
if you've got one,
gaming memories. I mean, I always remember getting Sonic 2. I think that was my biggest gaming memory for Christmas, because I think it came out just before, and it was probably the most hyped up game for that time. I think nothing else was quite the same. I think it was how everyone is for Cyberpunk 2077 at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Except back then, and it was a game that actually worked.
Yeah, it's just the two differences between the game. One works, one doesn't.
Exactly. So yeah, I just remember opening up at Christmas on Christmas morning, and then just not stop playing it until I think when I went back to school. Basically, even though it's one of them games again, you complete it and then you just go straight back and play it from the beginning.
It's so good, that game, it really is.
Yeah.
I had two or three copies of it at one point a few years back, and even though I know a mate of mine had already got one, I actually gave him one for Christmas for about 2013. I just sort of wrapped one up and gave it to him, and then put a message on the inside saying it's Christmas 1990, whatever it was again.
Do you know what? It's been a while since I played it. I'm going to play it on Christmas Day. That's going to be my Christmas. Bring back the memories.
Do we know what year Sonic 2 was? Was it 90 or 91?
Hang on.
Later than that.
First one was 91, wasn't it? Was it 93?
91 was the first one, wasn't it? I'm just trying to find my copy.
It's 93.
Trying to knock everything out. No, 92.
92, 21st of November, 1992.
Yeah, so, yeah, I was going to say...
Only a couple of months off.
28 years later.
Bloody hell, 10-year-old Eddie playing Sonic there.
I say 28 weeks later, 28 months, days later, now you've got 28 years later. You could turn it into sort of like a zombie sort of thing.
I think we haven't, at the moment.
Oh, shit.
Oi, don't you swear, that's my job.
It's all right, just copy a Pac-Man just falling off the shelf and hit me on the foot. Ow. God, dear.
Did you make the noise when Pac-Man dies in your head?
I wish I had done that before.
You are now.
Oh, I am. Yes, that's all to think about now. God, that's caught me right on the end of the toe. Good grief. God, I just moan about how good those Mega Drive boxes were sturdy, but they don't have to when you drop on your foot. In that case, I'd rather been hit by Nintendo cardboard by then. Sorry, Eddie, I'm chomping all over your memory there. Sorry.
It's all right. There's not much memory in there. It does take a lot to dig it out, to be fair. But yeah, I think as well, like when people was talking about the toys as well last night, because I was first on with Dana's stream, I was like, I wasn't expecting the question, didn't really put much thought into anything. So yeah, I mean, I think we all loved our bikes, didn't we, on Christmas? And that was what realistically first thing that came into my head. Like I think I had a bike every 3 or 4 years or something at Christmas, always at Christmas. It was never any other time. I just loved that. But actual toys, I think the one toy that really stuck in my head is the Manta Force. I don't know if anyone can remember that.
I've seen the toys since. Again, I think that passed me by when they came out, but I've seen and heard about them since.
Yeah, so basically, it's a Star Wars ripoff. I would say probably the best way to describe it. So it's basically what I had for Christmas was it looked like a big giant Millennium Falcon, except you took the top off, and then there was all these other like vehicles inside. And he had like lots of little army men, space army men, and it was just amazing, incredible. And I can remember when we visited Retro Kit's house the other day, he had a stack of Manta Force all in mint box, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is bringing me back.
Yeah, he had a great collection, didn't he?
Oh.
He showed August, wasn't it? Not the other day. Have you been down this? Yeah.
It's going quick, innit, this year?
Yeah, nearly 4 months ago. That was a August bank holiday. But yeah, he had it all sort of stacked up in that wardrobe or that cupboard he got. And I remember seeing them younger, but I don't quite got into them as much as.
Yeah, no, that is probably my biggest one because I've always thought about that toy year in, year out, thinking maybe I should buy one. But I just know that's, again, once you start down that rabbit hole, it's you don't just buy one, do you?
That's it. Was there anything that you perhaps that you wanted for Christmas that you didn't get?
Everything.
Yeah.
Come on, as kids, we wrote lists of about 20 items.
I know, but I mean, would there have been something, I don't know, that you were desperately hoping that somebody would get you and they didn't?
To be honest, now I think I was quite spoiled. Realistically, I got quite a lot of stuff that I wanted, and if I didn't, I probably would have had it through the year. Because again, I think I mentioned I'm a child of the car boot, so I always had stuff for really cheap, and like about a year later, from going to the car boots and getting everyone's stuff that they didn't want anymore. So yeah, I was quite. I don't know. I'm trying to think if anything I was really disappointed with anything, but I don't think there is really.
I mentioned bikes as well, which came up an awful lot last night. I don't want to keep referring back to last night's stream, but I never had a bike for Christmas.
Neither did I. I always got them for my birthday because my birthday was in the summer.
But I think I'd one bike ever, and I didn't really ride that because I wasn't really interested in riding bikes.
I had a BMX. It was called a Viper, and it was black and red and had snakes pictures around the frame. Loved that bike. And so I got it for one birthday.
But my dad was and still is quite a keen cyclist, even into his 70s, and I think I wanted like a BMX or something like that because all my mates had one. And what did they get me? They bought me a racing bike.
No, mine was a BMX.
With 20 gears on it. I mean, I don't want one of these sort of things, and no, wasn't interested in that at all. I think I've bought me something, I might be able to ride around with my mates on, it'd been fine, but no,
couldn't get stabilisers on it, could you, mate? That's the trouble.
No, I couldn't. I've mentioned it before, ice skating, roller skating, skateboarding, but anything that requires any sort of balance, with me walking around, I steer clear of it because I'm just completely useless.
Did you get a wee
balance board and fall off?
That's just how I've been on it, yeah.
Just stand on it and just fall
I daren't go on. There's not enough room to put some safety barriers up in here. That's what I need to do.
Handrails next to your wee balance board. Brilliant.
that podium, the Dance Revolution, as we can sort of like step onto it. I need the barriers to go around it as well.
I did nearly get disappointed one year, actually talking about bikes, because I think as well, I think the winter kind of broke all of our bikes, and that's probably why I got a lot of bikes for Christmas, because they'd probably be half flipping knackered by then. And I can remember one year, my bike had obviously died just before Christmas, and I was like, I went into Christmas expecting a new bike. I was like, can't wait, excited, opened up all my presents, and I was like, where's my bike? And then I was nearly crying, probably was, because I was, like I say, a little bit spoiled. And I was like, "Where's my bike?" Oh. And I can remember going into the hallway after coming out of like the main room and going into the hallway, and there it was. I don't know how how I got past it without seeing it. Well, obviously Santa probably came down while we was opening up the presents and dropped it off. That's probably what happened, isn't it?
Yes, I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, so it made it. I went through the disappointment of not having my bike, because I was like, how am I going to get to my mates in the morning to tell them about my Sonic 2? And yeah, then it was all rectified and everything was great, and it was one of the best Christmas ever. Obviously,
not suitcase shaped then, so that was all right.
A suitcase bike.
Go back to my disappointing Christmas I shared with everybody last night. Yeah, it's like. What about you, Rob? What's any sort of Christmas memories, gaming memories specifically you have?
I'm going to go for, rather than something I got, more than something that we as a family did, and that was every Christmas. I mean, my mum's birthday, by the way, is literally a couple of days away from Christmas, and for years we were one of those families, or we preferred to go away for Christmas rather than stay at home for Christmas. And obviously Mum liked to do that for her birthday as well. So like her birthday would be the day that we'd go away, and that she'd love that. And literally for years, from an age where you can't remember what you did yesterday because you're that young, up until sort of into my teens as well. We used to go at Butlins Minehead every Christmas for a week. One year we even stayed till the new year. That was awesome. But basically, where I'm going with this is obviously, like I've touched on in the past, my story with gaming and getting into gaming was always going to arcades. I got into gaming through arcades before I ever got my Game Gear. That was a birthday present. I can't use that. So basically, going to this Butlins Minehead, they had lots of little arcades around, and I knew where every arcade was and pretty much what machine they had. And there was the main one there as well, which was called Cracker Jacks. And I would literally, as soon as we get there, it was like, can I go out now? Can I go out now? And then it's like, right, well, be back for dinner at this time, be back for lunch at this time. And I'd just bomb it down to Cracker Jacks with whatever money I had for that sort of session being out, and spend it there and play the games. And again, I just knew what games were in there, where they were. And of course, because I used to go back every year, I'd know what was there last year, and then I'd go in there and I could see what had changed and what had moved. And I'd walk in there and I'd go, funny enough, that was my first experience of ever playing the first Time Crisis, was in Cracker Jacks at Butlins Minehead. I'd walk in there and there was this new machine, Time Crisis, and I went there next year and I turned to where it was and it'd gone, but it hadn't gone, it just moved to the other side. And it's the first place I'd ever played the Simpsons arcade game. It was the first place I'd ever played Mortal Kombat 2. It was the first place where I'd really gone during the Street Fighter 2 phenomenon, as I call it, and they had probably about 8 machines in a row, and each one was taken. Honestly, I just associate Christmas and going to arcades and playing some games for the first time.
That's nice.
All due to it. And she won't appreciate me saying this, but she don't listen. She was
why not?
She was 70. It'll be a couple of years ago, a week. And what she wanted to do for her 70th was actually go back to Butlins Minehead with my niece and nephew, my sister's kids, and sort of as a nod to the past. Now, sadly, that arcade I've just spoke to you about has been knocked down and is something else. And they've got one of these horrible generic arcades in the big tent thing, the all-weather tent that all these places have now. And as usual, it's just full of penny pushers and interactive machines where you can spend 70 quid to get enough tickets to win something that costs 3 quid, and it was a little bit gutting to see that, but at the same time, it was still good for me because I could go round and see where everything was and just sort of relive. Some of the pathways still look the same. Some of the painting on the walls are still the same as well, but a lot of it modernised and changed. But yeah, Christmas memories, and as I say, I didn't get to arcades very often, and I always got to one at Christmas, and it was just playing machines for the first time. Some of these classics that we all know today.
Yeah, that's really, you sort of associate those happy memories and all the way through, and where you sort of started gaming and picking up from there. So it's and the fact you went back into.
I mean, they had some of the obscure stuff as well. That I know I can't even remember. I wish I could remember. I remember Pete on a retro tip did a video on one-off fighting games that were uncommon, and I was like, I played that at Button is Minehead, and it was a really random game where it was basically a Mortal Kombat rip-off, and I wish I could remember it. I really do. But I can't. But there was also the one with I don't even remember it. The machine was it was massive. It was I don't know, it was about 6 foot wide and about 4 foot deep. And it had this hologram in front of you, which was tiny. But it was, it was revolutionary. I don't know. And it's literally, I think it was over one button game. And you'd watch the story and you'd have to press the button at the right time to jump or do something.
It's called Time Travel like that. Oh, no, no, you're on about the fighter one, isn't it? It was called Holosseum, that one.
Something, yeah.
Because that was they converted the time travelers into the Holosseum.
You also, I think I'm going back a couple of months, Eddie. I'm off here. You picked up a game on the PS1. I think it was called Cyber Sled. Is that right? With the tanks.
Yeah.
They had the sit-down cab at Crackerjack's in Butler's Minehead, and again, that is as soon as I saw you pick up that game, I was like, Crackerjack's Butler's Minehead. I've played that, and that was the first time and probably the only place as well I played it.
Yeah,
and I remembered it as soon as I saw it.
Uncommon machine because it was quite a beast of a machine as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. But it was fun. It's brutal as well. You think, right, I'll just peek around the corner and get that one, and you peek out enough in the later levels, and that boom, it's got you.
It's one of the great things because if you can't remember a title of the game, you're bound to know that somebody somewhere will be able to tell you exactly what that game is.
Yeah,
that he just sort of filled in there, and I'm pretty sure we've all got games where we've played them and we can't remember what they're called, but we're convinced they exist, and then somebody somewhere will pipe up and say, "Yeah, it's that game." And you go, "Oh, of course it is. Yes, I remember it now." It's one of those. I held this one back from Sean as a memory, not deliberately, but probably my greatest gaming memory, Christmas. This is a good one, not like the sad one I shared last night. Was when I got a Commodore 64. But I didn't get mine until 2008 or 2009, because it was Mrs. Bear's mum that bought it for me. So I just started retro game collecting again, and I said I really wanted one of those. And as you do, you come down and you got your presents all lined up, and you sort of sit there and think, wonder what that could be. It's a giant sized box, sort of thing. I wonder what that could be. I'll say that till the very end. I know I've been caught out by this before. But of course, as soon as I peeled it, started peeling the wrapping paper off, I could see the 64 logo, and I was like literally just tearing the paper off, like no way, no. It's like I've been transported back to the mid '80s, and of course there was a data cassette with it as well, and it was boxed. It got the polystyrene with it as well, so they'd done their research, found a really nice one as well, and I know Mrs. Bear helped her mum out trying to find a decent one, and I think it was Monty on the Run and Beachhead 2. So, and of course, that was fantastic. The other, obviously, big sort of Christmas present I got was about 2017, I think it was, when my dad bought me a Switch, which was possibly the strangest Christmas present I've ever received, because I think it's the only time that my parents, also my mum back before she died, and my dad since, have actually bought me anything gaming related that wasn't guided by myself. And I think I understand was that my dad sort of my stepmom's niece had a Switch and she was playing on it, and I went round to see my dad and she was there. My dad said, "Oh, you're good at games." He said, "Go and play." Laura was I think about 16 at the time, and go and play some games with Laura. So we're playing Mario Kart on it, and I was my usual useless self at the time. I thought, "Oh, great, Mario Kart! What a great way to sell me a system." But I said, "Oh, it's all right anyway." My dad seemed to think I was having fun, so unbeknownst to me, he'd actually rung the missus up and said, "Did you think Russell would like a Switch for Christmas?" And Claire was like, "Yeah, of course he would." So again, I got this sort of sixth sense on that Christmas Day morning. I got me little box of presents that people sort of brought in for me, and Claire said, "I want from your dad. Don't open that until the end." I thought, well, why would you say that? So obviously, I'm thinking, well, what could it be? I'm sitting there opening other presents. I think, what the hell could that be? Well, it's not a Switch, is it? Lo and behold, pull the paper off. It was a bloody Switch, wasn't it? It was a Switch.
At least it's not a Switch box full of socks.
No, no, but I probably would have worn the socks a bit more than I've used the Switch. In all fairness to it, but yeah, that was just like I was like, wow, this is like probably the most expensive gift anybody ever bought me. Pretty sure of it as well, and he actually bought a copy. I think he did. There wasn't didn't have a packing game at the time, did it? The Switch when it first released, you had to buy a game with it. So he'd got me Zelda as well.
Nice.
So not only did he buy me a Switch, which I don't use, he bought me Zelda game, which I'm not likely to play much anyway. I think I played it twice, so it's all sort of wasted on me. But no, I was. But then he does buy me some weird stuff for my birthday this year. He bought me some 6 Looney Tunes ceramic mugs. I was like, why have you bought me those? But apparently they're like collector's items or something like that. So he said, they're I sort of like rung you. I said, got your present today. I said, for my birthday. I said, thank you, like that. And he said, oh well, are they all right? I said, yeah, they're a bit random, Dad. And he went, well, they're collector's items. They fetch a few quid. Those. He said, bought them a bit of investment for you. I was like, okay.
I'll stick them on eBay now.
Yeah, I went on eBay and I thought, well, as a full set, they do sort of go for a few quid. So I thought, well, okay, but it's really weird. What I just can't quite.
Well, you're a collector now, aren't you? So you obviously collect everything.
I collect mugs. I've never collected mugs in my entire life, but.
I bet Sean's ears pricking up right now. Mugs. Someone's talking about mugs.
It's only gaming mugs. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah. It was just a strange. He does want me some strange things, but yeah. So it switched to mugs in 3 years. I don't know, but no, it was nice to get a Switch. But I really should spend more time with it. I keep saying that, but I really should. It's a nice little system. I do like it from what I've played on it.
Got me thinking about non-gaming presents now. Because obviously that was touched on Dana's stream, but there was so much more I could have said. Because obviously I said about me, but I said boxed masks on his stream. Of course they were boxed; they were bloody new back then. I was just honestly, I heard myself back. I was like, "You idiot!"
You're used to saying box,
but it's put the collector in you. But I mean, other things that were in my mind because I went for that in the Micro Machines thing. But I had the original Thunderbirds diecast figures. Oh, I say original when it came around again for a second time, and it was big in the 90s. So I had those. They were massively popular Christmas toy. I was surprised my parents got those. But I was massively into gladiators, and I had the figures. I had a Contender, Jet, and Wolf because they were my everybody had Jet. But, and then I had the dual thing as well, which you could put them on. So yeah, I had those as well. And of course, I've always been tempted to buy those again. I see them on eBay, like on Mint on Card, thinking, yeah, I might buy those.
Would you open them and play with them?
No, that'd be silly. No, I'd love those as display pieces. I like Gladiators videos as well because when they were big, they're gone now as well. They actually go for a little bit of money. They're quite popular. Because there was only ever one range of videos they made for that.
Okay.
I always said I'd love to have seen a Gladiators video game.
Well, there's an American Gladiators game, isn't there?
Not UK one, not over here.
Yeah, it's got all the same games on it, but yeah, it's just not got Jet and Wolf on it.
I was going to say, wouldn't we all love to just sit down one evening and play with Jet?
Oh, I wonder if you...
Steady.
I mean, if someone's clever enough out there, I'm sure he could do like a sprite swap and turn the American Gladiators into just gladiators.
Wouldn't take much, would it, really? I actually went to a Gladiators taping.
Did you?
I was meant to, but they cancelled.
At the
where did they do it?
At the NIA, I think it was. Was it NIA?
The National Indoor Arena was where they did the shows anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Because obviously we had the NEC in Birmingham for quite some years, but then the NIA opened. I think it was there. I can't remember what year it was. Probably 92, I think it was.
Very early then.
Yeah,
very early days.
I think it was one of the European ones. Might have been a little bit later. I'm desperately trying to remember what it was.
Because I think it went on till 2000, and then obviously in those last few years you had international, and then you had the Ashes as well.
Yeah, I think
they proper stretched it out. And
Yeah, but
Tired it in the end.
I think Ulrika was still doing it at the time.
Oh, she never left. She
Did
never
she
stopped.
leave? Okay, all right, that's fine then.
I know John Fashanu left and Jeremy Guscott took over, and then John Fashanu came back every now and again.
It was during Fashanu's first time on it. I think it was still probably the original lineup possibly, but I wasn't really into Gladiator. My friend Mobs, he was like, "Oh, I got free tickets. This, do you want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, okay, if you want to."
It's literally my stock answer. What's your favourite TV program of all time? Literally my stock answer. Don't even think twice. Love it.
I don't think I got that's another episode in itself. I could just sit here and say, yeah, I could go along with that for quite some time. But yeah, it was interesting, but yeah, not my thing really. Gladiators, couldn't quite get into it like other people did.
Another topic there as well: video games of things that haven't been made.
Well,
I just said there was no UK Gladiators game. UK.
Yeah, we'll have to remember that. We'll forget it, obviously, but yeah, we'll like we sit down for the next one.
Unless we write it down before we sleep, it's gone.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start programming it now, so might be some time yet because I don't know how to program.
Oh dear. Right. Well, I think that's pretty much come to the end of all that. So. Yeah, that was an interesting sort of strange sort of way we put this episode together. But guys, thank you very much indeed for giving up your time again, especially as we're recording this on a Sunday lunchtime, which is probably the first time we've ever done this on a lunchtime.
Yeah, nice and early
on the same day as well.
Yeah. Not
it's the only way you can get hold of me when I'm not asleep, though, isn't it? I think.
I know.
Although it was close.
yeah. It was messaged at 5 to 12. Yeah, what time are we doing this? Hopefully not 12 o'clock in 5 minutes. That was it. I'll just open another bottle of wine and top myself up. I think was the response.
Hair of the dog.
Yes.
Best way. That's the best way. Yeah. But yeah, no, I appreciate the time, and once again, thanks for Sean for doing the first part of this program. Also, as well, obviously Nathan and Pete aren't here, but I think. We'd all like to wish them a very happy Christmas and a happy New Year as well, and I'm sure they like to pass their seasonal greetings on to everybody listening. Guys, just I know we did this last night, but a quick message from either of you, for both of you, sorry, to everybody listening out there for Christmas, and just want to pass on your good wishes to them. Eddie?
Yeah, we didn't want to jump in at the same time, you see.
I gathered after the 2 second pause you're both waiting for each other.
First every time all night. Come on.
I usually come to you first, but today I've decided to go to Eddie first.
So yeah, I think just reiterate what I said yesterday. Basically, community out here is flipping great. So if you are having a quiet Christmas alone, like a lot of us are, you know where we all are, and just get in contact, and we'll have a few drinks together.
Yeah.
So Feliz Navidad, everybody.
What?
Oh, I didn't learn one before we did this.
Which language was that in?
Spanish, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. I barely.
Well, if you never heard the song Feliz Navidad, I'm not singing it.
You should do, because you got away with not singing last night.
and I did as well. I felt quite bad afterwards because I deliberately picked a song I didn't know the words to.
I took one for the tNb, and so did Sean actually.
Yeah, he did
Take
actually.
that back.
I think if Sean hadn't been stopped, he'd have carried on all night. To be honest with you, he'd taken it to his own personal set. But there we go. Rob, your message.
Yeah, I'm pretty much going to echo what I said yesterday, actually, because obviously it's going to be very different for many of us, But don't let it beat you. Enjoy the Christmas as best as you can. Enjoy it. Have a good one. But more importantly, have a much better New Year. I'm pretty sure we all do. So yeah, just Merry Christmas to everybody. Someone is there for everybody, and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, I can't really add anything to what you guys have been said. I mean, my personal message certainly last night was to sort of enjoy Christmas best you can. If you are able to meet people within these particular tier systems, then you have that there available. I know it's down to sort of a few hours on Christmas Day, but that is something at least. And if you are on your own, obviously, as the guy said, there is so much contact within the community to be able to sort of put something together, and there will always be somebody there out there who'll be willing to give up some time to have a sit down and a drink and a talk with you. And it's always this time of year we think about people who are alone. I know a lot of people are sort of position this time of year. So always reach out to the community, because we have shown this year that we can come together quite quickly, quite simply, and there are always a wonderful array of people out there who'll be willing to spend time. And as I mentioned last night in the chat as well, even though I've got my own commitments this year, you know, if people are going to get together over Christmas on a Zoom or a StreamYard or whatever, I'm more than happy to sort of come along and see and have a chat to everybody and keep everybody's spirits up and keep things moving until the new year. And I would also like to say on behalf of everybody as well, to everybody who's listened to this, because we've now done 9 months nearly of podcasts, and so from all of us here, really, thank you very much indeed for your continued support. We'd all like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we hope that we return in January to carry on these, and that you'll continue to listen to them. But you know, thank you very much for making it something we enjoy doing as well. And you can always sit down and listen to us rabbiting on over Christmas if you get bored some of the old podcasts, because there is some good stuff in there, I think. Do you think, guys?
Absolutely, and there's ones I'm in as well.
I wasn't thinking of those episodes particularly. I'd also like to apologise for Rob's use of the F word earlier, which he seemed to think he got away with.
And Bear's use of the S word as well,
yes,
by the way.
Yeah, but I did drop something on my foot. I have an excuse.
And I've been good throughout for a change.
And I played a Super Meat Boy-like game. Yeah, and had to talk about it.
And Eddie's still drunk from last night, and he's been perfectly, behaved perfectly okay.
Hey, it was only once. You should be lucky.
Yeah, I like I say, I will let you off the once, Rob, because it's a Christmas episode. So I'm not going to admonish you too much for it. At all,
and for the next one, basically.
Yeah. It's my usual stock answer, yeah. And then you end up turning up on it anyway, because I've forgotten about it. So there we go. Guys, thanks so much again for your time, and everybody listening, thank you very much indeed. Once again, season's greetings and a Happy New Year to you all. This is the Retro Bear from the Gaming Pantry saying, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll speak to you again very, very soon. But until then, it's bye for now.